What is faith? Faith means believing God. That, however, may not help us much. Sometimes our definitions are just synonyms and don't really get to the heart of the issue. Well, over the centuries, the church has affirmed in submission to the Word of God that faith could be described as being made up of three constituent parts. The first part is what we call the notitia, N-O-T-I-T-I-A. The notitia, and all it takes to have this sort of level of faith or to believe at this level is actually not even yet to believe. But what's necessary for there to be faith, to believe, is that you have to at least understand the concept of what it is you're being asked to believe. If I said to you, do you believe in the screaming blue yellowish? You wouldn't be able to say yes or no because you have no idea what I'm talking about, because screaming blue yellowish is nonsense. If, however, I said to you, do you believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers are the greatest football team to ever take the field? You first have to understand what it is I'm saying before you can decide whether or not you're smart enough to agree with that assessment. So that's the first step, to just understand the content. In the context of saving faith, we have to understand the content that we're sinners under the just wrath of God, and that our only hope is that He would provide a way for us to have peace with Him. The second part is what we would call a sensus, A-S-S-E-N-S-U-S. Notitia, understanding what's being said. A sensus, agreeing that it's true. Well, why isn't that enough? Shouldn't that be sufficient? I understand the message of the cross, and I agree that Jesus is the Son of God who came to save sinners, and that He died for the sins of His people, and that He was raised from the dead. I can list off the whole of the Apostles' Creed and affirm the truth that we're justified by faith alone. And if you do that, friends, you're no better than the demons. James says, you believe there's a God? So do the demons, and they shudder. Saving faith is not simply agreeing with the history of what happened. It's just not. Again, lots of people. I was there. I remember a time in my life where I believed the Bible was true. I believed in the Trinity. I believed that God existed. I believed that Jesus was His Son. I believed that He was born of a virgin. I believed that He lived a perfect life, that He died in our place on the cross, that He was raised from the dead. I believed all of those things, and also believed that if I died, I was going to go to hell, because I didn't hand my life over to Christ. Which brings us to our third element. There's notitia, there's a sensus, there's fiducia, F-I-D-U-C-I-A. You can see that word when we talk about a fiduciary responsibility. Fiducia means to trust, to rest. Let me break it down one more time. Suppose you were from another planet. And on your planet, whenever anybody sits, they sit on the ground. You don't have any chairs. You never heard of chairs. Chairs is just a completely foreign concept to you. And I say to you, what do you think about my chair? Well, you don't know what a chair is. You got to learn. And I say, see, this is a thing that that humans use all over the planet. They sit in different ways. This is a chair. That's a chair. That's a chair. That's a chair. Do you understand what a chair is? We set our backside down here, and we're able to rest to a degree. Do you understand what a chair is? When it gets to the place where he says, yeah, I know what a chair is. Then he's got the first part. And if then I say, okay, now that you know what a chair is, are you willing to sit down? Well, if he says yes, do you think that chair will hold you? Yes, I think that chair will hold me. That's a census. But are you willing to trust the chair? Are you willing to rest in the chair? That's fiducia. All three of these things. You can't skip 1 and go to 3. You can't skip 2 between 1 and 3. You can't start with 3 and then move down to 1. You've got to have all three. You got to understand the message. You got to affirm the message. And you have to rest in the message. And then you have peace with the living God.